What's up, everybody? This is Connor Williams for the Los Angeles Rams running back, and I'm tuned in with the Fantasy Football Counselor.
Hey guys, it's Tajay Spears, Tennessee Titans running back, and you listen to the Fantasy Football Counselor.
Happy hump day, guys. Happy Wednesday. Dude, I'm super excited. Got a big one here, and Breaking Brad's going to have a field day with the news. We're talking top 10 breakout players headed to the absolute moon here and back. This is going to be an exciting show. 10 big-time breakout players that are headed to another galaxy. On the show, we got the great, the powerful, the almighty Jim, aka the Maverick. Jim, are you excited to dive in? We got a big show today.
Absolutely, counselor. Let's get to it.
The energy's high, and man, oh man, I just want to get right to the news. I can't wait anymore because there's something I'm just itching to talk about, and it's terrible. You're going to say, Joe, you're terrible for talking about a guy getting injured and you're excited about it. No, I'm not excited about him getting injured. I'm excited that I was absolutely right, and it's already trending to me being right. So we're going to get to that in a moment here. Before we do, guys, hit the thumbs up, smash it, tap it, slap it. Guys, hit the thumbs up. It's very, very important. Turn on that bell. Ding, ding, ding. I don't have a bell. Do I have a bell sound effect? I do not. Wait. Turn on that bell, hit the thumbs up, and drop a comment below. Let us know about a breakout that you absolutely love, a player that's going to be going to the moon this year. Let us know who it is. Drop it below. I want to make this interactive. And grab the 16-round draft solution and the Draft Plus tool. I've linked it below. Totally separate programs. Amazing information. It's going to put you light years ahead of the sheep. Grab it below, guys. thefantasyfootballcounts.com. Go grab 16 rounds right now. You're going to get an email once you sign up with all my mock drafts, all the optimal players. I just updated the principal cheat sheet there. We're on version 4 of it already. Dude, I'm super excited. All the players that I talk about are coming together. Jim, are you pumped up, man? Football is officially back. Are you ready?
Yeah, isn't there going to be like some games on Thursday? I believe there is.
I think there is. I know there's a big Saturday game I was looking for. There's a bunch of games I'm looking forward to watching, man. Let me just pull up the actual schedule here. Dude, I'm super excited, man. We got Panthers and the Patriots coming up pre-week season 1, and we got the Lions and the Giants. There's a bunch of news coming out on certain players that are playing, certain players are not playing. It's going to be very interesting, but the game I was looking forward to, there's a bunch. Saturday, because I think we're going to get our first glimpse of Keon Coleman at 1 o'clock, Bears versus Bills in Buffalo. I'm pumped up, Jim. I'm pumped up. The energy's high here, man. High.
You are riding high right now, man. I appreciate that. I respect that. I don't think the first week of fantasy of the preseason really is anything because it's going to be mostly backups and guys on the guys on the cut list. We're not really going to see the starters really till probably the last preseason game at the end of the month. But it should be interesting if we get to see some of these rookies out there. So I'm excited to see what they can do and whatever work they get. So that should be good.
All right. So I was itching to get to this segment here. So we're now finally here. Breaking Brad, where are you? We got big news here. Big news. Massive news.
We now have breaking news.
Let's hear it again, Brad. Give us a third time.
We now have breaking news.
And here it is. Are you guys ready? It was yesterday's news, but San Francisco 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey has recently suffered a calf strain and will be likely sidelined for, quote, a couple weeks, according to head coach Kyle Shanahan. That's the news. Jim, what are your thoughts here? This is not a good sign for a guy we're projecting is going to be a regression player. Not a good start for Mr. First overall in fantasy, according to the sheep. If you got 16 rounds, we're fading him, and you're already starting to get signs on why. Your thoughts, Jim, on this injury here?
Yeah, I don't think it really is going to have an impact on the regular season. I mean, they're saying he's going to miss the preseason. It's like I wasn't expecting him to play in the preseason at all. So, I mean, it's it's an issue. It appears that they don't have any running backs right now because Isaac Rendo's injured, Elijah Mitchell is injured, so they got they're going to be practicing without any running backs during this preseason. Everybody's out.
And they're a disaster. And again, we're talking about Super Bowl hangover and players that coming off pinnacle years. Elijah Mitchell already dealing with a hamstring injury, was recently diagnosed with a hamstring injury, according to head coach. Brandon Ayuk, I want to talk a little bit about that. was a topic of trade discussions. At the time of this recording, there hasn't been a trade, so we don't know. We recorded this the day before, but Ayuk was a topic of discussions. There's a couple teams looking at him, including the Cleveland Browns. Pittsburgh Steelers, I heard, are still in the lottery for this. And who else is there? The Patriots as well.
Yeah,
and Washington. So there's a bunch of teams still kind of in this. Again, I just don't see the hype with Ayuk. I mean, he's good. He's not that good. Like, he should just taken the 26 million they were offering him or whatever they were, 28 million. Just take it and go, man. Like, all this complaint, like, you're good. You're just not that good, dude. You're not Justin Jefferson or Amon-Ra. Again, I don't know
well,
where
you can't say that because he has extreme target competition on his team. And so if he goes to a team like the Pats, who have no receivers, he could absolutely take a next level step and perhaps become an elite receiving option. I mean, I think it's in the realm of possibilities.
Good point. That's a good point. It was very diluted there with Kittle and Debo and CMC and all those guys. But so again, in that offense, I mean, with all these injuries, if CMC goes down, which I think he will this year, Isaac Guerrero is a real guy that could take off. I think it's an opportunity for him. I think he's back on the field. I haven't looked into Guerrero injury. We're talking third or fourth stringers here, but it's guys like that could really emerge. Even like, Jordan Mason, I think, is there as well. Time for these guys to kind of step up. So some sleepers there for you. And I think Debo gets a boost as well. And Kittle, and Ricky Purcell, if Ayuk gets shipped off. So there's some upside with some of those guys, as things shift and move around, right?
Yeah, even so with Ricky Pearsall, I mean, at best, he's probably still the fourth option. So I'm not really excited about drafting him. I think I've drafted him in one or two drafts so far in best ball, but that's it. And but it would be good for Debo's value. I think that would make Debo worth it where he's going on the draft board if Ayuk is gone. So that could be good. But on the flip side, he could really hurt some fantasy value. Like if he goes to the Steelers, which I don't expect to happen because the Steelers don't like to pay for receivers, but I think they're kind of desperate. You look at their receiving core right now, it's really in bad shape. Roman Wilson is injured. Then, you got Calvin Austin. So you got Calvin Austin and Kenny Pickett and Freiermuth. And it's just like, they're like, geez, we really need to get another receiver in here. So I really don't want that to happen. And it's really not how the Steelers run their organization. I don't think I've ever seen them pay for a wide receiver.
You're saying that,
They usually, even when they're homegrown receivers, which are awesome, once it comes time to re-up them, they're like, nope, you can go. See you later. We got other guys in the pipeline. So it must be a real desperate situation if the Steelers are looking to acquire Ayuk here.
A couple other things here. Sam Darnold, just a couple days ago, listed as the starting quarterback. This was yesterday on the depth chart, preseason opener. Again, we talk about Justin Jefferson and his value. It's not good, dude. I don't know. I don't feel warm and fuzzy. That being said, there's also news that Jordan Addison could be facing a looming suspension to miss multiple games, which could overall give Jefferson some boost and more targets going his way, or just more double coverage and bad quarterback play potentially with Sam Darnold. Who knows how that's going to end up. But Addison obviously dealing with an issue and could be missing some time. So a lot of drama here going on here. Things are starting to shake up. Injuries are starting to kind of pile up a little bit here as we kind of unfold everything.
This is one of the dangers of drafting early, Counselor. We were talking about this, right? Right? You're like, I love to draft early. I'm like, well, man, this stuff happens and you got to be, it's going to suck if it happens to your team. So
that being said, I've avoided CMC and all 49ers at this point due to all this drama and, runarounds that we're getting here. So that's pretty much it. Unless something breaks in between the time of this recording and we missed it, drop it in the comment below. We'll address it and talk about it here.
I got something else, man. I got something. You're not talking about it.
What's that?
Marshawn Lloyd is having a rough time, man. He's
really?
Not doing well, man. Yesterday had a drop and a fumble during the first team period in training camp. That's not good. You're not going to get on the field if you're dropping footballs. You can't do that. Everyone say that AJ Dillon looks better, which is shocking because AJ Dillon just sucks.
I'm not sold on it.
But Marshawn Lloyd's kind of like off my list right now because I'm just like, nope, it doesn't look like it's happening there. So
yeah. But we'll see
if you can pull it together in the next few weeks, but it's not looking good right now.
I'm looking it up here. Wasn't Josh Jacobs dealing with an injury as well?
Yeah, he's got a groin strain, so that's a little bit of an issue as well. He's not playing.
That could linger. We don't know.
And that they can linger like a hamstring injury. So those are bad injuries to have, especially for a running back. So
well, it is early. I mean, Marshawn Lloyd was a little, he's just got the jitters. Let him get the jitters out, and then we could have something here. It's all training camp, all practice. We'll see once the tire meets the road here, the rubber meets the road. So, thank you, Breaking Brad, for sharing that Christian McCaffrey news.
We now have breaking news.
We appreciate it. All right, let's keep going here. Let's go with our breakouts here. Again, if you haven't gotten 60 rounds, go grab the solution. So the first player here, breakout, going to the moon. This is Jim's guy. Again, we kind of go back and forth. We got 5 each. Let's rip through them here. We don't spend too much time on it because, we've talked about some of these guys before. Some of you guys know my guys. Some newer names that we don't talk about as much that are going to be in here, including one that Jim added or a couple that Jim added. So the first one, Isaiah Pacheco, Jim. What's the story? To the moon, we're saying here, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I got to say, your whole thing, counselor, is about the workhorse running back. Workhorse running back.
That's right.
Who is competing for touches or targets in this backfield?
There's
nobody.
Clyde Edwards, he sucks.
Yeah, I mean, complete non-factors on a team that's going to probably be a top 5 offense. No competition. He doesn't have a running quarterback either. This is the textbook definition of a workhorse workload that he can get. He's getting more involved in the passing game as well. Yeah. That's very valuable. It's a contract year for Isaiah Pacheco. This is all signs are just shooting up to the moon right now with this guy. I love him in the second or third round, late second, early third round. Great place to take him. And just try to get him on all your teams, man. I think he's going to be huge this year.
Yeah, I think they have a good year all around. I think they're looking at 3-peat here. Barring any type of injury, this guy should be really getting a quite a bit of volume. But again, you always got to contend with this team that kind of throws the ball and distributes everywhere. And I don't know. I'm just not as warm and fuzzy on him, but I definitely see, I don't see the massive upside, but I definitely see solid. I feel when I look at him and I think about him, I think safe and solid. I mean, how many more volumes? Like, how much more volume can he get this year than last year, Jim? Have you looked at some numbers, anything?
I haven't looked, but I think he could probably get close to 300 touches and targets. Last year, he had 250. He had 205 rushing attempts, 49 targets. That's pretty darn good in today's NFL. So, and I think he's got upside from there. I think he's going to be more involved. So there's just no competition. There's no competition in this backfield. He's going to get all the work. He's going to get the goal line work. This is a guy you want to have on your team this year. I love Isaiah Pacheco.
Where did he finish last year? 15th last year in PPR. I'm looking here. 205 attempts. That's not enough. 205 attempts is not enough. I need 240.
205 with more. He can get more this year. He can increase his role this year.
Okay.
I think, like I said, I can't find any negative reasons not to take him. I think he's going to be great.
Okay, we'll see. I mean, I need to see more volume there. We'll see if that happens this year. All right, next guy here is a big-time sleeper, but he could go to the moon. I think he is him. They say, that whole he is him. I think this is the guy. He is the man. I think he could be special. I know you're not as excited about him, but Will Levis. We're talking improved O-line. Tajay Spears to the moon. They added Calvin Ridley. DeAndre Hopkins banged up, but he should be good to go. Hopefully when the season starts, right? Why is my latest news sticker still on there? Okay, so Will Levis could absolutely go to the moon. That's my next guy here, and I'm telling you, sky really could be the limit for this guy. Again, I like the new offensive weapons. I like Calvin Ridley. I like DeAndre Hopkins, improved O-line, and he's a value. You're getting him for an absolute value. And again, I'm kind of going off that one game with the 4 touchdowns. We need to see more of that. I don't know what happened to him last year where he kind of just had that big game and fell off. I don't know, man.
Everybody got tape on him.
Yeah.
They figured out exactly how to stop him. I mean, this guy has every opportunity to succeed right now. They've given him every opportunity. I believe because they also had a top 10 pick in the draft and they took an offensive lineman. And they added Calvin Ridley. They added Tony Pollard. They've really increased the level of talent around him. And so, I mean, he's a great value. I like him as a QB3. Not sure I would trust him as a QB2. But in those sort of drafts where I do take three quarterbacks, like in best ball, he is often a target of mine. I have taken him in quite a few of those. and hopefully the upside is there, and it'd be nice. It'll be really nice if it happens. I think they're being very underrated for this team. So
8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So at least it wasn't a negative ratio there. Still, we want to improve on that. 1,800 yards last year, 255 attempts. Could be something there. He ran the ball a few times, 25 attempts, 57 yards, a rushing touchdown. Again, now he's finally settled in. He's the starter. He's going into the season as the starter. This is it, man. This is kind of a make or break season for him. So I think he goes to the moon. I think this offense is going to do better than people think. I think they're being slept on, and we're going to see. I think Calvin Ridley, man, I'm liking him more and more as we get closer to this season. I think there could be something.
Especially with the Hopkins injury. This is great news for Ridley. He's going to get lots of time with Levis in practice, so that's great.
But it's all these signs, like we talked about, DeAndre Hopkins over the cliff year, already showing signs of hurt, right? CMC over the cliff year. For me, that's what I think anyway, already showing signs of injury. So, guys, you got to look for these flags. Now, the one thing there's a bunch of flags for CMC. One of them was Super Bowl hangover. Another one was age. Another one was getting paid, incentivized. Another one was the injuries from a couple years ago. Another one was coming off 2 pinnacle years. There's another flag, which is already hurt. So you got to look for these flags and also look at it the other way when there's signs saying that they could have a good year. And I think Levis could be set up here, okay? So next guy here, who's actually coming to the Fantasy Sports Summit. If you haven't got your ticket to the Fantasy Sports Summit, guys, grab it below. Okay, guys? Grab a ticket. It's a virtual summit. It's all online, August 21st. Pat Frymuth is going to be there. This is your guy here. You think he's going to go to the moon. I think he's going to be a little limited if they bring in an Ayuk or someone like that. I think it's going to be more target dilution. The way this sits right now, it could easily be the number 2, number 3 target there behind George Pickens. It's a great opportunity, but will he continue to be the 2 there? But I don't know. Ayuk is going to be an issue for me if he ends up there.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think that the Steelers organization is going to bite the bullet and spend $30+ million a year on a 4-year contract for a guy like Ayuk. They don't do that. That's not how they run things. And yeah, I mean we already talked about how deleted the receiving core is, and really I see Freiermuth as the number 2 target on this team behind Pickens, and so big bounce back. A nice upgrade in the quarterback position. Pickett was garbage last year. Pickett got like 11 passing touchdowns. It was abysmal, absolutely abysmal. Freiermuth suffered as a result of that, but now Deontay Johnson's gone. Roman Wilson is injured. This guy has a chance to really bounce back very strongly. 2 seasons ago, I believe it was his rookie season, he had 98 targets, ended up with 732 receiving yards, only 2 touchdowns.
Right.
But I kind of see that he could definitely get, around that 700 yards and 5 touchdowns this year, which would make him extremely valuable at his ADP. He's going as like the tight end 14, real value, real nice value play. Tight ends are notorious for being just very low value relative to all the other positions in fantasy football, just because they don't get a lot of volume. And this is an opportunity to get some really good value late in the draft, so you don't have to spend an early draft pick on someone that is maybe only going to do maybe 200 yards more than this. It's just not going to make much of a difference. So, I love targeting him. Contract year as well. Bounce back season. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be a career season for Freiermuth this year.
Yeah, I mean, the ceiling is there. I just don't know if they bring someone else in. You think they don't. But again, there's just always been rumblings that I don't feel they feel warm and fuzzy with the current wide receiver situation. Again, if they bring in another wide receiver, I think it's going to cap his ceiling a bit. But again, he said contract year. There is some upside there, okay? Next guy here, I think the sky really is the limit for this guy. Again, smash it, tap it, slap it, hit the thumbs up. The guy I'm talking about is Malik Neighbors, okay? This guy, I don't know if you saw, did you see the fight actually today that broke out? He was fighting a defender. I don't know what team he was playing against. I posted it on my story mode here. Did you see the fight?
I think it was another rookie. Just temper's running high. Lots of passion there. That's good. I want those guys, but save it for the games, guys. Save it for the games.
But when we're talking about this, it's like, okay, they're throwing punches here. You can kind of see it here. It's a bit of a scrap. But what I don't understand about this is like, why would you punch a helmet? Like, again, it doesn't make any sense to me. And they look really ridiculous with those things on top of their helmet, those foam things. Again, it doesn't make sense to punch a helmet. Like, you're going to break your hand, or it doesn't really hurt the other person. It's going to kind of shake them up a little bit. But I guess kind of the heat of the moment, I guess you kind of lash out. But I know I posted that. People in the comments like, why would you punch a helmet? I agree. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. You might as well like maybe do like a takedown and get an arm bar or something maybe. But these guys aren't jujitsu guys. I keep forgetting they're football players, right? So, but anyway, Malik Neighbors, going back to it, he's been being targeted a lot in training camp. He really has no competition there. I do like Theo Johnson as a sleeper at tight end. You might want to note that down. But Malik Neighbors, again, if you're looking at a wide receiver who's going to be the clear-cut one, look no further from a guy who's hungry, ultra talented, and we're looking at a make or break year for Daniel Jones as well. I think this whole offense is being completely slept on. I think they're going to have some big games, and Malik's going to be a beneficiary there. I think there's a ton of upside for this guy. I love him. I love him.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of upside for him because there's really nobody else. Yeah. He's basically the only guy in the offense. So he's the star. He's going to get fed the volume a lot. I like the fact that that Malik Neighbors goes much later than Marvin Harrison goes. I constantly said that Marvin Harrison has to hit this like huge nut in order to be worth his draft pick because he's going as like the wide receiver 10 on most drafts. Malik Neighbors is going in the 20s. I think that's a real good spot for him. I like him if I could get him as my third wide receiver, like a flex play, something like that. I really, really like him as a flex play. But yeah, I just wish he'd go down just a little bit more. I don't think it's going to happen, but it'd be nice to see him fall, to the 5th round. I'd love to see him in the 5th round, but it's probably not going to happen. He's going to be a 4th round guy. So
yeah, I think I see him coming off in round 3. I'd take him in 3. Because you got your ace wide receiver 1, right? I like him. I like him a lot. But again, if you look at the value with like a Marvin Harrison round 2 and a Malik Neighbors, who's to say that Keon Coleman and Ladd McConkey don't finish ahead of these guys? And that's a crazy thought process whenever these kind of rankings come out and everyone kind of follows the consensus. Like, I understand Harrison and Malik kind of like higher caliber talent out of the draft, but if you look at who's throwing the ball, even a guy like Justin Jefferson, who's ranked like top 5 pick overall, Sam Darnold's throwing the ball. Where I get a top elite quarterback at Justin Herbert, who, again, he's got a bit of an injury. His ADP has fallen, which is kind of a good thing if you want him. You got him and Josh Allen throwing the ball. It's ludicrous not to look that way and get the value for those rookies later. That's why I stack both of them. For that value, round 7 and 8, I'll take Ladd and I'll take Keon. Sign me up in all my leagues. You're not going to have them for that value. I'm not giving you Ladd and Keon. I take them all. So that's my thoughts. I think Malik has got a ton of upside. Your next guy, and again, I'm not really feeling your guys. Like, I don't feel like Jaden Reed's your next guy. I don't see and feel the ceiling with a diluted situation there where Romeo Doubs is looking better than everybody in camp and getting most targets out of everybody in camp. I don't see your fascination with Jaden Reed. I think you're a little biased here, Jim. And I think you're kind of buying into the sheep ADP because he's ranked the highest on the ADP. I think you're buying into it.
No, I'm ranking it because he's a better player. He's a better player than Romeo Doubs. Doubs is like a 2. Doubs is like a Christian Kirk kind of player. I mean, he's as some guy that, he's good. He's good as a 2. I don't think he can be the lead back. Last year as a rookie, Jaden Reed got almost the same volume as Doubs did and was much more consistent on a week-to-week basis. So I'm looking at what he did last year. Romeo Doubs did 96 targets. Jaden Reed got 94. Clearly, clearly to make that kind of impression and to get that much volume in your rookie season with a crowded receiving core shows that Jordan Love likes him and trusts him. The coaching staff likes drawing up plays for this guy. And when you have a rookie wide receiver that places in the top 36 wide receivers on any given year 2, you typically see a 30% increase in their volume. That's the average. Average is 30% increase. That means that would take him up to about 120 to 130 targets this year, which I can see is absolutely doable. That makes him a great value at where he's going on the draft board. And like I said, it's going to be hard to find like a clear-cut elite wide receiver 1 on this team because there's so much talent and there's so many receivers. But I do think that Jaden Reed is going to be the lead receiver here. And, Romeo Doubs, he'll be a solid 2.
I disagree. Now, I just put them side by side. College, 6 foot 185, Jaden Reed, 2nd round pick 6'2", 200 pounds, 4th-round pick in Romeo Dobbs, okay? So higher draft capital, I'll give Jaden Reed that. He only played 11 games last year at college. Jaden Reed did at Michigan State. The year before that, played more, played 13 games, just over 1,000 yards, 1,026, 10 touchdowns, whereas Romeo Dobbs actually had 11 touchdowns, over 1,100 yards. So kind of comparable in regards to receptions, touchdowns in college, draft capital a little more Jaden Reed. But again, I go back to those playoff games where Romeo Dobbs was heavily leaned on by Jordan Love, and again, looking the best out of camp. So it's going to be interesting to see. And again, we're talking guys to the moon. I don't see the ceiling with Jaden Reed. I don't see him going to the moon unless Romeo Dobbs and Watson go down. And I don't see it. But the good thing is, though, Jim, out of all these guys, again, you're getting that value. You're getting these guys later, while other people are going DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, earlier, and including Nico Collins and Diggs earlier. So I'm out on Diggs. I'm out on Nico. But give me some of these guys later. I'd rather have a Jaden Reed than a Nico Collins, because just based on draft capital,
And I'm just going to add something here before we move on, Counselor. I'd just like to add that last year, Reed had 824 yards and 6 touchdowns, and Dobbs only had 683 yards and 5 touchdowns. All right. Who's better player? Jaden Reed.
We're splitting
in the NFL. So I'm telling you what, it's going to be Jaden Reed's year. Jaden's going to be the breakout on this team.
All right, I'm going to be texting you when Romeo Dobbs is crushing it after the first 4 weeks of the season. I'll be like, I told you so. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Next guy, I've talked about him a lot here, right? A lot. I'm going to continue to talk about Zamir White. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. If you're a regular on my show, I'm all in. Round 5 ADP is like RB 24 or 25. This is a top 10 finisher easy. His touches were like second to none at the end of the season. He's the workhorse guy. The only argument Tim the bald guy makes with me is like, oh, he was a backup to Jacobs. You don't like backups, blah, blah. I don't know what it was, but I don't know why he never got the start. Clearly they believe in him, almost kind of like they kept him hibernating there. They knew the talent. They saw the talent. They tested him out last year. He crushed it. Jacobs got shipped off, and they didn't bring anybody else in. They got that Dylan Lube guy, or Lube, or whatever his name is, Lob, or whatever. I'm not really concerned. He's more of like I said, Danny Woodhead style, if you guys remember him, scat back kind of guy. Maybe he might come down on third downs, might be a bit of a pest. But Zamir's going to get all the goal line work. He's going to get a ton of volume. He's going to smash the ball up the field. They're going to run the ball a lot more this year. They're going to rely on Zamir White a lot. He's Zeus, man. They call him Zeus. This guy is going to be a value. He's on all my teams. I want to go on record. Him and the next 2 guys are in all my leagues. Okay. There's not a league I've gotten that I don't have the next 3 guys I'm going to mention. And Zamir White's the first guy here. Must draft. A must draft fantasy football player in Zamir White. Jim, I know you're not as high on him. I've heard your debate, but I'm sick of it. I don't even want to hear it. Want to move on to your guy? I don't want to hear it. I have nothing.
You know what I'm going to say, Counselor. You know what I'm going to say. I'm just going to add this right now. I got Zamir White projected with 250 total touches, 200 attempts, 50 targets. That's the same as what Isaiah Pacheco did last year. Again, and you were like kind of out on Isaiah Pacheco for this year.
Yeah.
I think it could be a good situation for him. We don't know how good this offense is going to be. We don't know how much offense they're going to have with the quarterbacks that they have. Anyway, we know where you stand. I'm a little bit more cautious, but he does rate well on the 16 rounds plus app. He does rate very well. I will admit that. So
make sure you guys grab 16 rounds. Okay. Your next guy is kind of like, I like him. I like the talent. And again, I usually hate like scat backs or guys dipping into the workhorse, but I think this guy is the better of the backups. Jalen Warren, backup to Najee Harris Steelers. Again, I just posted a video of him fighting a defender, and like he was basically throwing the defender around. This guy's a smaller dude, and he's got heart, man. So I'm really excited. He looks tough. He runs hard. I like him, man. And you were saying, we talked about this before the show, this guy could be the one. Najee looks like sluggish. Every time Najee runs, I don't expect anything. I'm just like, oh, Najee's got the ball. He's running into a pile or whatever, right? I had a couple strong runs at the end of last season, but Najee, he just turned me off. He's left a bitter taste in my mouth. So I'm out on Najee. Jalen, I still have no stock in him, but I definitely see the appeal. He's a 16 rounder. I love the heart. What are your thoughts on Jalen Warren? Why? And again, don't you think he's going to be limited with Najee there? He's a target hog. He's an attempt hog. is Najee.
The thing is, Najee is just a plotter. He's only valuable if he gets the volume. The guy hasn't even broken 4 yards per carry. I don't think in any season he's been in the league. He's not a dynamic player. And Jaylen Warren has systematically basically taken over all the receiving work out of the backfield from him, because in his rookie year, he got like 90 targets or something from Ben Roethlisberger. But last year, let's see here. Hold on. I can look at this. Jaylen Warren had how many targets? 74 targets. That is awesome. That is amazing. The dude averaged 5.5 yards per carry versus Najee Harris with under 4. I mean, it's not going to take much for them to realize that, and I think they already have kind of realized it, because they didn't take Najee Harris's 5th-year option. So he's going to be cut at the end of the year. Jaylen Warren is on a contract year here, and I think he's just going to take over the backfield because he is straight up the better and more effective back. You want the more effective guy out there, and I can see maybe Najee becoming more of like a David Montgomery kind of role, where he gets a lot of work in between the 20s, but when you get into the passing game and you get into the red zone, Jaylen Warren's going to be out on that field scoring points, lots of fantasy points. So I really like him. I'm tired of taking these old plotters, these guys that aren't very talented, instead of the young upstart. I want the young upstart that really has shown what he can do, because those guys always do come on and then they take over the role. Look at what Kyron Williams did last year with Cam Akers. They finally elevated him and they shipped Cam Akers off. I can see the same thing happen with Najee Harris this year. So
isn't Najee like due for a contract or something? Like, that should be.
Well, yeah, right? This is the last year of his contract because they didn't take the 5th-year option on it. They declined the 5th-year option. So this is the last year of his contract. And ironically, it's also the last year of Jaylen Warren's contract. But clearly, just by doing what they did, it's like saying they're not going to be retaining Najee Harris after this year. He is going to be gone. So
they're going to play more Warren, but you got to imagine, Najee's going to be playing for his life. But they're definitely going to integrate Warren more this year, I would assume. They have to.
I hope so. He's one of the best players. I mean, he is probably the best offensive player on that team right now. Maybe one of them. But he's so much better than Najee on every metric, that how can you not put him out there? He's the better player. Put him out there. So anyway, I agree. That's my soapbox.
All right. I just hope his ceiling isn't limited because of Najee. That's all I'm saying, right? So we'll see. Next guy, sky is the limit. I'm not going to spend too much time on this guy either. You guys know my channel. And since we're talking breakouts, I've done a bunch of these shows before, right? We talk about these guys. But now that we're in prime time, I got to keep talking about him, because there's a lot of new people coming to the channel, because a lot of people just tune into fantasy football as we get closer to the day, and that's fine, right? They're not year-longers like most of you. But I got to talk again about Keon Coleman doing amazing camp, making outstanding highlight reel catches. He's a human highlight reel, ultra athletic. I had Trey Benson on the show. Go back and listen to that show. Rookie running back for the Cardinals. And he says, man, he's just an athletic freak. He's just amazing. And so I love Keon Coleman. I love Josh Allen. I like the Buffalo Bills this year. Nobody else is there. Curtis Samuel sucks. Khalil Shakir is like, man, I'm not really sold on him either. A lot of people saying Dalton Kincaid. Dude, Keon Coleman. Remember, Diggs was coming off round 1 for the past X amount of years, 4 or 5 years, whatever he has, right? Now, Keon Coleman is not only a replacement, but he's better than Stephon Diggs. You guys are going to see better attitude, more excited to be there, just a better energy around him, right? And again, with freed up targets, you got Diggs gone, you got Davis gone. Dude, I'm telling you, it's going to be a Keon Coleman year. I am all in on Keon Coleman. Every single draft. There's not a draft that goes by where I don't draft him. He's one of those guys that I just can't miss out on. I love him. The sky is the limit. Boom, boom, boom. Love him.
Yeah, and this could be one of the best stacks of this season. Because Keon Coleman's going in the 8th round, so you can grab, Allen in like the 3rd or 4th round. That's where you got to take him in most drafts. But then you can wait till the 8th round to take Keon Coleman, his wide receiver 1. And I don't believe any of those other guys are going to be the wide receiver 1 there. Those guys are talking about like, oh, it's going to be it's going to be Curtis Samuel. I'm like, get out of here. Don't even talk to me about that. It's ridiculous. I mean, again, great connection between these two. I'm willing to bet that when they were talking to Josh Allen, they're like, we're getting, during the offseason, they're like, we're getting rid of Stephon Diggs. So let's, when we're doing these practices with these rookies, I want you to just tell me, who do you like the best? Who do you feel most comfortable with? And, I'm pretty sure that Josh Allen said, I like this guy the best. This guy is going to be the best with our system, and
Yeah.
I trust him. And so, they're just connecting immediately, which is fantastic. I love it. And yeah, I am way in on Keon Coleman right now. Like I told you yesterday, I'm backing off a little bit from Ladd McConkey because he's injured. Herbert's injured. That's not good for his development. But Keon Coleman, man, it's like lights, green light, thumbs up. Everything's going right now. So I love it.
I just read a quick stat here. Back on Malik Neighbors here. Hold on. There's news breaking on my phone as we're talking here. So quick thing on Malik Neighbors. This is just a general count. Malik Neighbors was targeted 18 times in live drills during the 2 days of joint practices against the Lions. He caught 17 of those passes from Daniel Jones. So basically, him and Daniel Jones have literally been absolutely unstoppable. Okay. So I wanted to kind of mention that real quick. Also, something else just came across my feed here because I get feed all the time here. Ricky Parcell re-aggravated the shoulder injury that put him in a blue non-contact jersey over the OTAs. The 49ers removed him as a precaution, Shanahan said. So Ricky Parcell hurt again with the shoulder. Man, this is crazy. Starting to happen, Also, this, I want to make a note here. Another day, Sam Darnold bomb to Jordan Addison. Hit him perfectly in stride. 50-yard downfield for a score against the second-team defense. This is crazy. So, yeah, just things happening.
That's not real impressive, but okay.
Okay. All right. Let's move on.
Sam Darnold's always been way better in practice than he has been in live games. I mean, I can't think of any top 36 receiver that Sam Darnold had at any time when he was the starter, right? If anyone can name a name as to who he did. And so I'm looking at the projections right now, the season projections for someone like Justin Jefferson, and it's like 1,450 yards and 10 touchdowns. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, with these two quarterbacks, a failed quarterback and a rookie quarterback that never really threw the ball, had one of the lowest passing volume offenses in college football, and yet they're going to turn Justin Jefferson into a 1,400 yard, 10 touchdown monster. I just don't see it happening, man. I don't see how it's even possible. So
guess what his best year was? It was 2019 Sam Darnold for the Jets, 3,024 yards, 19 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. That was his best year. 19 touchdowns is his best year. And just over 3,000 yards. Okay. The year before, 2,800 yards, 17 touchdowns. 2020, 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. 2021, 9 touchdowns, 13 interceptions on the Panthers. The year after, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I guess he didn't play the full season. But the point I'm trying to make is it's Sam Darnold. So I don't trust it, man. I don't trust
he's a failed quarterback. Those guys, they can have a good year. It can happen. It does happen. Geno Smith 2 years ago. Baker Mayfield last year, but then they just revert back to sucking. He's always sucked. He's never been good. And I just don't see it being a good year for him. I just don't think it's going to happen. He's not a good quarterback.
And the thing is, it's not like he's had 1 or 2 years. He's had years to wow us. It's not like, okay, he's had one, he was a rookie last year or something, or he had 2 bad years and okay, now it's he's going to kick it into gear. No, he's done nothing since 2018. We're what, 7? He's going into his 7th season, something like that. That's crazy, man. I don't trust him. He's not going to come out and be I'm the best. He's going to do amazing things. I don't see it. All right, Zay Flowers is your next guy here. Again, what are the other options here? Really for the Ravens?
Yeah, I mean it's Mark Andrews. That's it. Rashad Bateman. He's hurt again. By the way, Rashad Bateman's hurt. There's really just not a lot of target competition. They got rid of OBJ. He was on the team last year. So there's targets that have been freed up. And again, this is another rookie wide receiver that placed in the top 36 in his rookie year.
Yeah.
So we are looking at, he could get up on average 30% bump in volume. So last year he got 108 targets. So that would take him up, to the 130, 140 target range. That's really damn good. There's that puts you in top 18 as far as wide receivers go for volume. And this is going to be one of the best offenses in the NFL. It's going to be a fantastic offense. So trust it. He's going to be fantastic. And, I have tons of Zay Flowers. I've stacked Zay Flowers tons of times with Lamar Jackson in a bunch of my leagues, including our Dynasty League. I'm excited to see this combination play because I think they're going to be great.
The loss of Jacoby Jones, right? He played for the Ravens. Is it Jacoby Jones that passed away? July 14th, 2024. Basically, I think I heard a statement today. Lamar said that they want to win the Super Bowl for Jacoby. So that's really good that they're motivated. So that's a good thing for them and the morale and for Jacoby, in his honor. So there could be something there. We've seen this a lot happen where players are uplifted by a loss or like a sickness to a coach or something like that, right? So there could be like a little bit of extra, pep in their step because of this loss. So it's going to be very interesting to watch his offense. I'm excited to watch Derrick Henry. It's going to be explosive. So yeah, Zay Flowers has got to benefit from that for sure. I personally don't have stock in him either. Your guys, I see some upside. I do like, who do I like here? I liked your Jalen Warren pick, but again, I just think Najee could be there. Pat Freiermuth, I don't know, as long as they don't bring another wide receiver. Pacheco's safe. Just not as excited about my guys. I guess that's why they're my guys. These are your guys. So I think they're interesting. All right, last guy here. I think the sky's the limit. I think this guy he actually beats out, straight up. I think he actually beats out Sam Laporta in fantasy points. I think Laporta was dealing with an injury as well. I don't know what the Sam Laporta injury was. I think it was a hammy or something was bothering.
No, it's a minor injury. It's nothing serious. Nothing that's knocking him out for more than a day or two. So I don't know I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, oh, it's not a knee, it's not a foot, it's not a hamstring. So I think he's fine.
Let's take a look at some upside here. When I look at attempts, right? Like if I look at attempts last year, Dak Prescott threw a lot. 590 attempts. I'm looking at it right now. 590 attempts. So he actually Goff threw a lot too, 605. So they're right in line. And then you got to look at who else is in that committee. And I think Jake Ferguson is a clear 2. And you can say Laporta is a 2, but I think Gibbs gets an uptick in receptions, whereas Goff is going to be leaning on the checkdowns. Gibbs is going to get a lot of catches, whereas the Cowboys don't have a pass catching running back. They just don't, unless they get Deuce Vaughn involved, which I don't know if they will. You got, good old reliable Zeke, but again, he's tripping up in training camp. I'm just not sold on Zeke. I think he's washed up.
Yeah, Zeke did not look good. He does not look good. Actually, there's a news article talking about how Rico Dowdle's the man. I'm like, what? That guy's been in the league for 4 years, has never done anything. Yeah, Deuce Vaughn has a hamstring injury. That's not good. So it's just a bad backfield right there in Cowboys land, and they are going to have to pass the ball a ton because they have no ground game. They're not going to have any ground game this year. So,
I went and watched old tape from last year on Jake. Old tape. It's only last year, but Jake Ferguson, he's got like a nose for the end zone. He grabs it and he runs. He runs strong. He runs aggressively. He runs hard after the catch. And I already heard rumblings in the offseason that he's ready to step it up. Every year he's stepping up. This is the year, man. This is the year where I think he finishes as a top tight end in fantasy football. That's how high I'm on Jake Ferguson in the situation. I'm all in. He's in all my leagues. I'm just riding it, and I like the value better because I get him. He slipped to a 5. He might slip to 6, but you might lose him. But I got him in round 5, where I'm getting my ace tight end, who I believe is going to finish on top, instead of going earlier like some of the other guys like your Kelsey or Laporta. I love the ceiling here, Jim. I'm all in on Jake Ferguson. Are you feeling him?
Yeah, he's going to be a quality pick regardless. I mean, I really like him too. I don't being the top tight end this year, but definitely, absolutely, he'd be top 5, no problem. He's a nice value at where he's going on the draft board. I've no qualms about taking Ferguson. Also, contract year for Ferguson. So there's good stuff there.
Tons of upside. So, Jim, anything else you want to say here? I mean, these guys are definitely going to the moon. We don't have a moon. Oh, we got the lion. There you go. Lion moon. All right. So, I think they're going to the moon. I think there's a ton of upside. I like my guys more than yours. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Smash it, tap it, slap it, and grab the 16-round draft solution. It'll put you light years ahead of the sheep. That's it, Jim. Anything else you want to add here?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that I like my guys more than yours. That's kind of weird.
Okay. All right. Time will tell, man. Time will tell. We will see.
That's right. That's right. We're going to have like a week 1 showdown in the Dynasty League with some of these players. So we'll see how it goes.
I've gotten to the point where I'm just sick of talking. Like, I just want to watch football at this point. Don't you? Like, I'm Yeah, like let's just get to it, see how it all pans out. So I can't wait. And again, we're gonna have a preview show here every week when the season starts, waiver wire show, everything, guys, right here. And of course, in the front lines, if you guys want, direct access to me, join the front lines. I got direct coaching, everything at thefantasyfootballcouncil.com to help you guys with your drafts and in season as well. Smash it, tap it, slap it, guys. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Those are some fantasy football breakouts 2024. We'll talk soon. Bye, Jim. Bye, everybody.